Hey guys, welcome to Auggie and Me. Today we're going to be reading the introduction. It starts on page XI and goes to XVI. If you guys enjoy this book, make sure you hit that subscribe button for more of Auggie and Me. And stay tuned to hear the rest of the chapters. Without further ado, the introduction. Is there going to be a sequel to Wonder? Someone in the audience asks. No, I'm sorry, I answer, a little embarrassed. I don't think it's the kind of book that really lends itself to a sequel. I like to think that fans of Wonder will imagine for themselves what will happen next to Auggie Pullman and all the other people in the world. That exchange or something like that has happened at just about every book signing, speaking engagement, or reading I've done since Wonder came out on February 14th, 2012. It's probably the question I get asked the most, aside from will there be a movie of Wonder? And what inspired you to write Wonder? Yet here I am, writing an introduction to a book that is, for all intents and purposes, a companion to Wonder. So, how exactly did that happen? To answer that question, I have to discuss Wonder just a little bit. If you bought this book or been given it as a gift, there's a good chance you've read Wonder already. So I don't need to tell you too much about it. Suffice it to say that Wonder is the story of a 10-year-old boy named Auggie Pullman who was born with chronofacial difference. As he navigates the ups and downs of being the new kid at Beecher Prep Middle School, we see his journey through his eyes and the eyes of several characters whose lives happen to intersect with his over the course of that pivotal year, and whose insights enhance the reader's understanding of Augie's passage of self-acceptance. We don't hear from many characters whose stories don't directly expand upon Augie's story within the time frame of that fifth grade year, or whose understanding of Auggie is too limited to shed light upon his character. Wonder is Augie's story, after all, from beginning to end, and I was very strict with myself about telling his story in a simple and linear way. If a character didn't propel the narrative forward or told a story that ran parallel to or before or after the events in Wonder, then he or she didn't get a voice in the book. That's not to say that some of these other characters didn't have any interesting stories to tell. However, stories that might have explained their own motivations a bit, even if those revelations didn't directly affect Auggie, which is exactly where this book comes in. To be clear, Auggie and Me is not a sequel. It doesn't pick up where Wonder left off. It doesn't continue to tell the story of Auggie Pullman navigating middle school. In fact, Auggie is only a minor character in these stories. What this book is, precisely, is an explanation of Augie's world. Expansion of Augie's world, excuse me. The three stories in Auggie and Me, the Julian chapter, Pluto, and Shingling, all originally published as short ebooks, are told from the perspective of Julian, Christopher, and Charlotte. Respectively, they are three completely different narratives telling the stories of characters who only occasionally, if at all, appear in each other's stories. They all do have one thing in common, though, which is Auggie Pullman. His presence in their lives serves as a catalyst by which they're each transformed in subtle and not so subtle ways. Auggie and Me is also not a sequel in a traditional sense because there's no continuation of Augie's story, other than a brief fast forward in Julian's chapter to the summer after fifth grade, which provides a nice coda to the Julian Auggie storyline. But other than that, readers don't find out what happens to Auggie Pullman. In the sixth grade or high school or beyond, I can guarantee that book, the de facto sequel, will never be written. And that's good. That's a good thing, folks. One of the most beautiful byproducts of writing Wonder is the amazing fan fiction it has generated. Teachers are using it in classrooms, asking students to get into character and write their own chapters on Auggie or Summer or Jack. I've read stories devoted to Via, Justin, and Miranda, chapters written from Amos's point of view, and Miles and Henry's. I've even read one child's very poignant short chapter from Daisy's point of view. But perhaps the most touching story writing I've read has been about Auggie, with whom readers seem to have a passionate sense of involvement. I've had kids tell me they know for sure that Auggie will grow up to be an astronaut, or a teacher, or a veterinarian. They tell me these things with great, almost empirical authority. By the way, no dilly dallying, no guesswork, so who am I to disagree with them? And why would I write a sequel that would limit all those options? Auggie, as far as I'm concerned, has a bright and amazing future full of infinite possibilities, each one lofty as the next. I am truly blessed that readers of Wonder feel close enough to him to envision for themselves how his life will go. I know they understand that just because I chose to end Wonder on a happy day in Augie's life doesn't guarantee him a happy life. He will surely face more than his fair share of challenges as he grows older, with new ups and downs, new friends, other Julians and Jackson, and of course Summers. Readers will hopefully intuit from how Auggie has handled himself over the course of his first year at Beecher Prep, with all its accompanying trials and tribulations, that has what he needs inside of him to triumph over whatever life hurls his way, withstand the challenge as they come, stare down the stairs, or laugh them away. There with him always, through good times and bad, will be his amazing family, Isabel and Nate and Via. The only thing I know that truly heals people is unconditional love, wrote Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, which may be why Auggie will never succumb to any words inflicted by the careless words of passerby or the choices of his friends. Those he has, too, friends both known and unseen, who will stand up for him when it counts the most. In the end, readers of Wonder know that the book has never really been about what happens to Auggie Pullman. It's about how Auggie Pullman happens to the world. Which brings me back to this book, or more accurately, the three stories that contained in Auggie and Me. When it was first suggested to me that I write these short ebooks, these wonder stories, I jumped at a chance, most specifically on behalf of Julian, who had become a much loathed persona among Wonder fans. Keep calm and don't be a Julian is even something you can Google now, and people have taken it upon themselves to make their own cautionary posters. Keep calm and don't be a Julian. And I completely get why Julian is so disliked until now. We've only seen him through the eyes of Auggie, Jack, Summer, and Justin. He's rude, he's mean. His stares, his nicknames for Auggie, his efforts to manipulate his classmates to turn against Jack are tantamount to bullying. But what's at the root of all this rage against Auggie? What's up with Julian, and why is he such a jerk? Even as I was writing Wonder, I knew that Julian had a story to tell. I also knew that his story of bullying, or why he bullies, was of little consequence to Auggie and had no impact on the story, and therefore didn't belong in Wonder. It's not for the victims of bullying to find compassion for their tormentors, after all. But I love the idea of exploring Julian's chapter in a short book of his own. Not to exonerate his actions, since his actions in Wonder are reprehensible and indefensible, but to try to understand him better. It's important to remember that Julian is still just a little kid. He has acted badly, yes, but that doesn't necessarily mean he's a bad kid. Our mistakes don't define us. The hard part is coming to terms with our mistakes. Will Julian redeem himself? Can he? Does he want to? These are the questions I ask and answer in the Julian chapter, even as I shed some light on why Julian behaves toward Auggie the way he does. The second short book in Auggie and Me is Pluto, told from the point of view of Augie's oldest friend Christopher, who moved away several years before the events of Wonder take place. Pluto is a unique look into Augie's life before Beecher Prep. Christopher was there with Auggie through his early hardships and heartbreaks, the horrific surgeries, the day Nate Pullman brought Daisy home for the first time, the old neighborhood friends who seemed to vanish from Augie's life. Now that he's older, Christopher struggles with the challenge of staying friends with Auggie. The stares, the awkward reactions of new friends. It's tempting to walk away from a friendship when it becomes difficult, even under the best circumstances. And Auggie not the only one who is testing Christopher's loyalty. Will he hang on or let go? The third short book is Shingling, told from the point of view of Charlotte, the only girl chosen by Mr. Tushman to be one of Augie's welcome buddies. Throughout Wonder, Charlotte maintains a friendly, if somewhat distant, relationship with Auggie. She waves hello when she sees him. She never sides with the kids who are mean to him. She tries to help Jack, even if it's a secret, so no one else knows. She's a nice girl, no doubt about that, but she never goes out of her way to be more than nice. Shingling delves into her life of Charlotte Cody during the fifth grade at Beecher Prep, and readers learn there was a lot of other stuff going on that year about which Auggie Pullman didn't know. Dance performances, mean girls, old alliances, and new cliques. Maya, Exemia, Savannah, especially Summer, feature prominently in Shingling, which, like Pluto and the Julian chapter, explores the life of an ordinary kid who is touched by extraordinary circumstances. Whether it's about Auggie and Julian, or Auggie and Christopher, or Auggie and Charlotte, the three stories in Auggie and Me examine the complexities of friendship, loyalty, and compassion, and most especially explore the enduring effects of kindness. Much has been written about middle school and the preteen years, and how it's a time in kids' lives when they are almost expected to be unkind to one another as they navigate their way through new social situations on their own, often without parental oversight. But I've seen a different side to kids, a tendency toward nobility, a yearning to do right. I believe in children and their limitless capacity to care, to love, and to want to save the world. I have no doubt that they will lead us to a place of greater tolerance and acceptance for all the birds in the universe, for all the underdogs and misfits, and for Auggie and me. That wraps up the introduction. I hope that you guys enjoyed, and if you did, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, and stay tuned to hear from our three characters. I will see you guys next time.